Okay, now with all of the benefits in mind that you've outlined, focusing specifically on latency and longer term analytics, can you also speak to the flip side of the equation around some of the challenges or and some of the hurdles that any organization may expect to encounter as they adopt edge computing as part of their operations?
Well, that's right. So, to follow up on your previous question, what are the problems that you might run into? Well, there are some issues with edge computing. The number one is scale. As I just got done describing, I mean, you might have 1,000 video cameras arrayed across your factory floor. And in fact, it may not even have the same analytic on it. It may have different analytics. You may have different cameras looking for different things and therefore have to have a different machine learning model associated with them. You might have assembly machines with compute capacity in them. You might have conveyor belts or stackers and sorters, or if you're in a retail store, you might have point of sale terminals, or even robots that do inventory tracking or even restocking. In this emerging world of intelligent retail, you might even have intelligent shopping carts that when you put a product, take a product off the shelf and put it in your shopping cart, it registers the fact that you now have taken that product. And all of these, are valuable places to put work. But when you got a lot of them, you have to deal with how are you going to manage that? How are you going to get the right software at the right place at the right time? But on top of that, how are you going to keep up with all the changes that occur? I mean, these things move around, they get repurposed, they get reconfigured. You may be dealing with a lot of diversity, different machines with different architectures and different amounts of memory and storage and peripheral devices and sensors and again, purpose. So, and then of course, there are security threats that you have to be aware of. I mean, a lot of these devices are out there in the wild, and in the retail store, in the presence of a whole lot of people walking around in that store, or even on the factory floor, or in the distribution centers, et cetera. And so, there are a number of problems that start to surface in edge computing, and that's what we have been concentrating on in IBM, is how to help people manage deployment of their workloads, of their software to these devices, making sure that we're able to recognize the differences between each of these nodes and accommodate those differences, making sure that we've got the right version of software out there at the right place, the right version of the machine learning model out there at the right place, and that all of that is being handled at scale with security and recognizing the diversity and dynamism of those environments. That's what we call autonomous management. The system that we've put together based on the Open Horizon open source project is really designed to handle that kind of complexity at massive scale.